Our missing voice is no longer missing. Philip is a junior at LSU, majoring in microbiology with a minor in chemistry. Don't come ask me any questions, Philip. He graduated in the top 10% of his high school class and was given the St. Michael's Award, which is an award given to the top 10 seniors who make a difference in their class. He hopes to attend law or medical school upon graduation from high school. Philip, I'm going to read your question and give you a chance to think, and then I'm going to go on to Erin, and Erin can pass it back to you. What is the most important set of research skills you have taken away from your academic career, and what has prepared you to be a lifelong learner? We'll give you a minute to think.
You can sing the Jeopardy song.
Okay, so building off of the guided learning experience that Faye and Mary spoke about, and talking about the next step of that, I teach freshmen in college, mainly freshmen in college, who are suddenly having to move from high school papers to college level papers. And what sums up their situation best is, I think, the title of Stephanie Rosenblatt's article here today. They can find it, but they don't know what to do with it. And that was what I quickly found my students needed help with the most. And so to reassure them when we start the research project, because they find it very intimidating to do their first college level research project, I assure them that they know more about searching and finding information than I do. They're actually the experts with that in a way that I'm not. I didn't grow up with the internet and having all these online databases. They were there by the time I got to college, but it was sort of a new thing then. So these are kids that have grown up Googling stuff. So they're not going to have a problem finding information. What I feel like I can provide them is guidance in evaluating the information, figuring out how to select what's most useful, and then figuring out how that should be incorporated into their writing so they can arrive at a strong paper at the end of the project. And so I think that that is one of the things that, at least at the college level, it's probably important, though at all levels of research, is figuring out how to evaluate the information and figuring out what purpose the information is being used for. So I spend a lot of time with students going over, what's the difference between a blog, someone's personal opinions that they're just putting out on the internet. How is an academic article different than an article in Newsweek or Time Magazine? When would you want to use a full-length book versus maybe finding an article or information on a website might be more useful if you're looking for more current or more factual information. And then the other thing too is that a lot of times I found students have a kind of either or conception of research. Sometimes they've been warned that online sources are bad, or you can't use Wikipedia. If you just go to Wikipedia, that will be you'll have a bad research paper. And on the one hand, that's true. If you are relying just on Wikipedia, you're not doing a full research project. You're probably not going to end up with a strong paper that way, I warn them. But Wikipedia can be a great place to start from, especially now that it includes citations. That can be a good way to get them an idea of where to start searching. And I've also done this recently with students where, to sort of blow their minds because they've gotten that, websites are bad and you can't just rely on someone's personal website. Well, we went over an academic article that related to the book that they were reading, and I showed them how, this is a useful source because this is someone who is a professor in the field. It's a peer-reviewed article that's been researched. It was published in an academic journal. And then I Googled it, and the guy had reprinted it on his personal website. So, I was saying how it can be kind of tricky because on the one hand, you could just Google this and still arrive at a perfectly legitimate academic source that you could also find from doing it the right way of going through the online databases. So it really comes down to you being able to, the researcher being able to figure out who's writing it, who is putting their authority behind it to validate it, what type of source is it, whether it's stored on a website, someone's personal website or a database, you know, what's the source originally? Is it an academic article or just someone's opinion? So I think that's the most helpful thing that we can do, is helping them figure out, with this vast amount of information that they have, how to pick and choose from it.
Well, that sounded great. A lot of what I'm going to say pertains right back to what you just said. I think one of the biggest skills for me as far as being a lifelong learner is being able to recognize bias in an article, because right there you can tell whether you've got something that's actually usable or whether you've got something that's kind of just internet junk. A lot of our papers we have to do, you have to use the online databases, which are great tools, but a lot of times the searches on that are kind of hard to work with. So I've kind of got to where I learned to use the outside internet to learn as much as I can about a topic, and then go back in and try to find some of the peer-reviewed journals and more technical stuff off the online databases that actually more or less sounds like some of the good articles that I've been reading off of the not online database websites, you know, through using Google and some of the stuff like that. And so I think those skills where you learn to just, you know, learn as much as you can and then go jump into the technical rather than jump into the technical first, really helps you as far as being a lifelong learner.
Okay, whoops. Technical difficulties here.